Welcome back everyone to another episode on EI Entertainment Studios, back at it with another debate video. Today's debate video we're going to be talking about Godzilla 2019 versus Super Legendary Kiryu. So if this is your first time ever tuning in into a debate video, what I like to do is I'll get one original kaiju, in this case it's going to be Godzilla, and one we can call a fan-made kaiju, a kaiju that doesn't necessarily exist in the Legendary Monsterverse or Toho's universe. And we're trying to see if this monster were to be real, what would its characteristics be, what would its abilities be, what would the backstory be, and most importantly, would it be able to kill Godzilla? And that's what we're here to find out. So that's pretty much the big idea of this debate video. So the plan is this. We're going to go over Super Legendary Kiryu. First, we're going to go over the pretty much backstory, abilities, characteristics, and then we're going to go to Godzilla 2019. Once we finish these two, we're going to put them up against each other for a death battle to see who would be the true king of the monsters. So without further ado, let's begin Godzilla 2019 versus Super Legendary Kiryu by focusing on Super Legendary Kiryu first. So let's begin. The backstory of Super Legendary Kiryu. Super Legendary Kiryu came into existence after Monarch decided to make a super bioweapon against other future possible threats after King Ghidorah had died. So pretty much what this is trying to say is, after King Ghidorah came and pretty much wreaked havoc on America and everywhere was pretty much getting destroyed, Monarch said, this is the last time. We're gonna be prepared for next time, let's have a new weapon to fight against these monsters. They kind of took Godzilla out of the picture for a second. Now, after going back and quarantining the areas that Godzilla and King Ghidorah had fought in, not allowing anyone there, Monarch started gathering DNA from both kaijus to start a chain of biochemical reactions. In the mix, they also collected samples of the fire demon, aka Rodan. After combining all three DNAs together, and with super advanced technology, they made the mixed DNA compatible with electronic devices, making gDNA, which is Godzilla's DNA, the most dominant. A new mechanical monster was born, Super Legendary Kiryu. So this is the backstory that I came up with for Super Legendary Kiryu. Now, for the abilities, I'm going to quickly skim over them for now. We'll do a deep analysis before we go to Godzilla 2019, I promise you that. Just for now, I'm going to do a quick skim. So let's begin. We have the electric atomic breath, chest cannons, lower chest gravity beams, supersonic winds, flying ability, less than 60% damage, I'll go more deeper into that, Mega Blast, and that one is a very crazy one too, and I'll go into that, don't worry. They're very vague right now. Now the height of Super Legendary Kiryu is approximately 146 meters tall. Territorial level is maximum, aggression level is maximum, biome is earth, ocean, and space, and I'll explain why once I finish with the abilities. So now that we're pretty much done with Super Legendary Kiryu, let's go back to his abilities and let's do a deep analysis. Starting off first with the electric atomic breath. This is an interesting one because imagine Godzilla, right? Godzilla has the atomic breath, and that's in his DNA. So what that means is they took his DNA, put it into this robot. Now, for it to give an output, it can't do an atomic breath. It's an electric monster. It's a robotic monster. So it's condensed the atomic breath into a radiative electric form. That's pretty much what it is, and that is the electric atomic breath. Next, we have the chest cannons. The best way I can explain this to make sense, anyone who has ever seen Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, all-out attack, I was gonna say Battle for Earth, I can mix up my movies for there for a second, but yeah, so Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, all giant monsters, all-out attack, the military has this one cannon that they shoot, and the missile, actually, when it hits the object or the opponent, doesn't explode. It hits them, goes inside, the missile goes inside, and then it explodes to cause the most damage interior-wise of the organism's body. That's pretty much how this works. The chest cannon will hit the opponent or the object, whatever they're hitting at, will hit the object or the opponent, will dig inside of the flesh or the object, will open up, and then will explode in there to cause the most damage. So that's the chest cannons. Next we have the lower chest gravity beams. This is again taking the DNA of King Ghidorah and kind of condensing it into a more electric form. Even though it was electric in the first place, it's condensing it in more electrifying way. The lower chest gravity beam, what a funny word, huh? Beams becomes a way, and it shoots to his opponents. Next we have the Supersonic Winds. Obviously we know that Rodan had Supersonic Winds. Now multiply that by 2 because this creature is more perfect. It is a artificial intelligence, so it can create double the amounts of Supersonic Winds to make their opponents unbalanced, or just to wreak havoc on whoever it wants to. That is the Supersonic Winds. Now it can also fly, having DNA from King Ghidorah and Rodan, known as the flying ability. And then we have the less than 60% damage. So what this means is if Super Legendary Kiryu takes 59% damage or less, he can repair himself by himself, if that makes any sense. So on the battlefield, his own technology can repair himself if he's less than 59% and lower. Now 60% and higher, he cannot repair himself. That's pretty much what it is. And then we have the strongest ability, the Mega Blast. So this is the strongest ability of Super Legendary Kiryu. So this is a mixture of the Atomic Breath, the Gravity Beam, and those coming at strengths of supersonic rates. And they are meant to kill a lot of opponents, and they will. This is a very, very strong ability, known as the Mega Blast. Okay. Oh, and by the way, just to explain Biome, he has DNA of Godzilla. Godzilla is compatible with Earth and oceans. To swim into the ocean, he has gills, right? Not just land. And then King Ghidorah is from space, so he took up that DNA, and now Super Legendary Kiryu can be found in Earth, ocean, and space. No problems at all. Okay. Well, that sums up Super Legendary Kiryu. Let's move on to Godzilla. Godzilla's backstory is quite interesting, not like any other overpowered Godzilla we've seen from Toho, right? For example, Godzilla 1954, he's not natural, he is a mistake. He is an abomination created from nuclear testing. Atomic bomb testing, whatever you want to call it. Same thing with Shin Godzilla. Nuclear radiation was the cause of his birth, and he was a man-made monster that ended up destroying all of man. Hopefully we get Shin Godzilla 2. I know it got cancelled, but somehow we get a sequel to it in the cinematic universe of Toho, which is coming, I believe, after Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm very excited for that. But so you see, my idea here is that they're abominations. This Godzilla is not an abomination. He's not a man-made monster. He is a natural beast living here to protect Earth. That's his position here. He is here to protect Earth, and he is Earth's monster. He is a natural phenomenon protecting Earth, and he is Earth Defender. So he is not a mistake. Now, because of that, he lacks a little bit of abilities compared to Shin Godzilla, right? Shin Godzilla was an abomination. Nuclear radiation caused them to go... Excessive nuclear radiation that wasn't supposed to be in his body caused deformations and advance in technology of his genes and just crazy abilities, right? If you see Shin Godzilla. Now this one is a natural monster, so he has less of that, but it still has very, very good abilities. The first one is the Atomic Breath. Has a very, very strong Atomic Breath, this Godzilla, when I mean Godzilla 2019. He has very good abilities of fighting. He's quick. He has good arm size, good leg size, crazy tail whip, so he's good in combat. Also, he is the first Godzilla I have seen to date to still live after a blast of the Oxygen Destroyer. Have you seen any other? I don't think so. And finally, he has the Burning ability. Now for that, he needs a catalyst. He can't do it by himself. So we can say that's a semi-ability. He needs the complete energy of Mothra and more and excessive radiation, meaning more radiation than his body already has. And that's what he needs, those two things. After those two things are fulfilled, Mothra has to die, by the way, and then he can initiate burning ability. His height is around 120 meters. Territory level is maximum, aggression is medium, but when he needs to go maximum, he will definitely do it, especially against Ghidorah. And biome for him would be Earth, pretty much. Ocean, whatever. Volcanoes, just all of Earth, pretty much. Okay, that sums up both of these kaijus. We pretty much summed them up. So now let's go into the battle phase, which is known as the battle phase. I don't know a better way to say it. So let's begin. So we're gonna do this best out of two. Close range and far range. Now why do I do this? Now far range kind of limits their abilities. I cut off some of the monster's abilities to see how they would still, you know, react to the other monster with having some of their abilities cut off. That's a good way of diagnosis, and that is the far range battle. And then we'll go, you know, the practical one, which we'll leave best for last, close range. You know, all monsters like to go close range and beat the holy hell out of each other, right? And that's what this is. Now, in a rare scenario, if we do get a tie out of these two, we will go into overtime. I'm not going to explain it right now because there's no need for that, but if we do get there, then I'll explain overtime, obviously. So let's begin with far range, limiting these two monsters at 700 meters apart. Let's see what abilities Super Legendary Kiryu can and cannot use. So, Electric Atomic Breath, yes, made to go far distances. Chest Cannons, yes. Lower Chest Gravity Beams, yes. Supersonic Winds, yes. Flying ability, yes, only for defensive abilities because he can't fly to him. He's going to fly around at 700 meters apart. Can't go closer, right? So flying ability for defensive. Less than 60% damage, doesn't matter if he has damage and he'll repair himself. Mega Blast, of course. That is definitely made to go far distances. Atomic Breath, Gravity Beam at supersonic rates. Interestingly enough, in a very rare scenario in my debates, this kaiju, Super Legendary Kiryu, can use almost, well not almost, well yeah, well I'll say almost because one of them, the flying is for defensive, but almost all of them for offensive techniques in the far range distance. And that is pretty good. For Godzilla, he is limited to only the Atomic Breath and the Burning ability. We're going to assume that the two catalysts are fulfilled for Mothra and excessive radiation, FYI, so Godzilla has the burning ability on, just to make it fair, right? So let's begin. I believe that Godzilla will be the one to begin the battle. What do I mean by that? I mean that Godzilla is the Earth Defender and Kiryu is the one attacking him, so he's going to be the one to begin the battle, as in Godzilla is. So we're gonna go with that, and I believe that Godzilla is going to start off by just using an Atomic Breath on Super Legendary Kiryu. And as that happens, is that going to cause damage? Of course it is. But remember, anything under 60%, more exact 59% and lower, he can repair. And it's pretty much, it's instant. It's an instant repair. So, it's okay. Now, obviously, if Godzilla does that, Super Legendary Kiryu is definitely going to be enticed by this. And so I think that he's going to use the replica of Godzilla's Atomic Breath at him using the Electric Atomic Breath, right? And is it going to cause damage to Godzilla? Yes. Is it going to kill him? Obviously not. Now, with that being said, I think with a combo, he'll mix it with the Lower Chest Gravity Beam. Now that's going to be a good one. Both of them together is going to cause some damage to Godzilla, like it or not, right? Now, with that said, I think that Godzilla will have no choice because he has two abilities for far distance to go into burning mode and use that to his advantage. But what do you think is going to happen to Super Legendary Kiryu when Godzilla 20 explodes in the burning ability, you know, the heat radiation? I think nothing will happen to Super Legendary Kiryu, and this is because of this. Now, King Ghidorah was not familiar to hot temperatures, super hot temperatures, especially coming from a radiation standpoint, because he was, I want to say, you know, I'm not going to go into the backstory of King Ghidorah, but I will say he was locked up in ice, meaning that he's not too good with heat. And Rodan, having Rodanish DNA, it's a very interesting word that I just came up with. Rodanish DNA, having that in him is going to allow him to take in crazy amounts of heat. So with that being said, the burning ability will have little to no damage on Super Legendary Kiryu, leaving Godzilla very vulnerable, and him using the Mega Blast, the Atomic Breath, and Gravity Beam at supersonic rates will definitely put out Godzilla, giving this at 1-0 for Legendary Kiryu. Excuse me. 1-0 for Super Legendary Kiryu for far distance. Okay, now that we're 1-0 for Super Legendary Kiryu, let's go into close distance, where it's going to be a whole different game, whole different ball game from close distance, because everything is allowed. We know that Godzilla is a super fighting machine. Now, is Godzilla gonna beat the crap out of Super Legendary Kiryu? Well, let's see. Now, it's important to take into this scenario. Godzilla is 120 meters. Super Legendary Kiryu is 146 meters. That's a big difference, right? Now, obviously, I see Super Legendary Kiryu towering a good distance over Godzilla. Now, does that mean that Godzilla is gonna back down? Of course not. A great example himself right now is King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah is way bigger than Godzilla, and Godzilla ended up kicking his ass, right? So, that doesn't really matter. But obviously, it does give somewhat of an advantage to Super Legendary Kiryu from this standpoint, right? Now, going from that, obviously, that's going to take us into a next battle phase where I think that Godzilla's going to rely on his abilities or agilities of just coming in close to Super Legendary Godzilla and trying to keep him down. This whole point, I think, is trying to keep him away from using his super abilities, and that only way he can use that, only way Godzilla can do that is just keeping him on the ground or just hitting him back and forth. But you see, the problem with that is, let's say that he does. Let's say Godzilla comes close to Super Legendary Kiryu and just throws him to the ground and starts pulling away, tearing away bits and pieces, and starts causing a lot of damage. Now, remember, Super Legendary Kiryu has Supersonic Wind abilities. He can use that, and that's obviously going to throw Godzilla off of him. And then he can fly, which is going to move him around. Once he's in the air, Godzilla is going to try to use the burning ability or the radiation breath. Either one of those two. I'm going to go with the burning ability. Now remember, he has supersonic winds. He can also fly, having that at supersonic speeds, right? So what does that mean? He can throw off Godzilla, and then he can kill him like that. I see Super Legendary Kiryu winning again. Sorry. I see a 2-0 win with Super Legendary Kiryu because of the abilities being so strong. Leaving it at 2-0 for Super Legendary Kiryu. Obviously, this is just my opinion. You can debate me in the comment section below. But thank you so much. Also, we've just got to 60,000 subscribers. It is such a blessing. Thank you so much to everyone who subscribed to the channel. It means so much to me. Wouldn't be here without any one of you guys. Would not be here at all. And I can't wait, because this Sunday we get the 60,000 subscriber special. So let's do it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day, stay safe from the coronavirus. God bless everyone. Thank you.